The goal is Pasadena, California, and the granddaddy of them all. The journey? The Penn State Nittany Lions' first ever trip through the Big Ten. And what does Penn State bring to the party? Tradition. 2 national titles, 6 undefeated regular seasons, 29 postseason bowl appearances, with 17 wins and 2 ties. 59 Nittany Lions have been named first team All-America 68 times. Basically, Penn Staters have won every major award at the collegiate and professional level. But after 106 years as an independent, the Lions embark on their first ever season of conference play. Welcome to Run for the Rose Bowl, a half-hour preview of the upcoming Penn State football season. Hello and welcome to the show. You know, at the root of most wars and revolutions is a fight for independence. But Penn State recently decided to give up that independence when it joined the Big Ten. And now finally, the Nittany Lion football team will play a full Big Ten schedule. When I was in Chicago and talked to the other Big Ten coaches and players, every one of them to a man when asked about Penn State talked about tradition. Now the Nittany Lions get to put that tradition on the line on the football field. You know, the other Big Ten coaches didn't say it, but the last thing they want to see is Penn State to waltz through this first ever Big Ten season. Penn State, meanwhile, not only wants to prove they belong in the Big Ten, they want to be taken very seriously.
You know, they're literally for a couple of years going to be fighting for Big Ten pride versus Penn State. We're still, you know, we're not one of the guys yet, and it's going to take a while to be one of those people. And I think that's only natural. And for anybody to get upset about that just doesn't understand competition and people's pride.
I can see that someday the Michigan State-Penn State game might be more interesting to the fans out there than the Michigan-Ohio State game. That's our goal, someday to knock them right off. I'm sure their goal is to make sure we don't.
They probably will challenge Michigan faster than anybody else will in the league, which is good for everybody to get that thing challenged. So I like everything about them coming in.
You know, whenever you play a team who has won national championships, the tradition is there, and when they talk to those kids and you got Joe Paterno and his staff doing it, they're going to play well in big games.
Even though the Big Ten hasn't been dominating the final top 25 polls in football like they have in basketball, no one is predicting that Penn State comes in and takes over. If nothing else, the Big Ten is proud. And even for a legend like Joe Paterno, this conference stuff is all brand new.
I feel like this is a new job, new opponents, never been in a conference, not sure exactly what the pressures of a conference are going to be like. So, I mean, all those things are things that I feel, I've said them before, and they continually are with me. I'm edgy and excited and all the kinds of things I was when I first, when I first took over as a head coach.
It remains to be seen if they can have the same kind of success in the conference that they had as an independent football team. I happen to believe that playing a tough conference game week in and week out really takes its toll on your football team, and sometimes if you don't play well, there's good enough football played in the conference that you may stub your toe. I hope that happens to them. You know, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it could happen.
So after winning a pair of national titles in the 80s, just how charged up will Penn State be to play in Pasadena? Gone are the traditional rivalries like Pitt and West Virginia. And even though the players really don't know what to expect, the newness of playing in the Big Ten has them pretty pumped up.
Now you can just feel it. You're hearing things that the other Big Ten teams are saying about us, and you know, you just sort of excitement everywhere. I mean, you just look everywhere and it's like, okay, you know, Michigan's saying this or Minnesota, whatever, you know. So it looks, you know, good.
We're ready to play in the Big Ten. I mean, I think that, you know, Penn State, you know, matches up, you know, very well with each team, and, you know, going out to, you know, Chicago, seeing the other teams, I mean, it's just exciting.
I'm glad to be part of the Big Ten. I mean, it's Big Ten, everyone knows that, and be in a conference and have a chance to win the crown there and go to Pasadena. And, I mean, definitely that's a goal of mine once I came here, to be a part of something like that, and I'm looking forward to having some fun with it.
All those things, you know, take care of themselves if we, you know, just take care of business on the field. You know, right now we got a good, you know, long preseason ahead of us, and we're just going to go out and try and get better every day and, you know, just let those things take care of themselves.
And as far as their counterparts, everybody knows Joe, and no one will be taking Penn State lightly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because it's a great addition to the conference. Everybody's talking about Penn State. They're a very good team. It's going to be a brawl out there.
I've never seen him on film or played against him or anything, but so I don't really have any deep hatred for Penn State or anything, but I mean, it could develop, you know, over time, probably long after I'm around, but it could. Last game of the season and all.
I think it adds another, you know, quality team to the week in and week out play, and it's just going to make the conference stronger and everybody else better.
They've always been a national power. I've watched Penn State since I was small, and I always had a lot of respect for them.
It all starts tomorrow, a brand new era of Penn State football. New teams, new stadiums, and a whole new concept of playing in a conference.
No, I'm not naive as to how tough it's going to be. They don't have to tell me that. We've got too many good coaches, too many good football players in this league for us not to understand that we're going to have to really hustle every week and be consistent and be zeroed in on a game, a week. And because any one of them you lose, and it's fatal.
When we come back, we'll take a closer look at that Penn State schedule, and we'll see how the Big Ten stacks up from top to bottom. Stay with us. You know, there's sure been some great football games here at Beaver Stadium. Nebraska in '82, Alabama in '85. What about those Notre Dame games? Who are going to be the big games this year? USC will be here on September the 11th. Then the game everyone has circled on their calendar, the Wolverines of Michigan on October the 16th. It also happens to be Penn State's 1,000th football game. But as far as the players and Joe Paterno are concerned, there's only one game to talk about, and that's Minnesota. You know, one game at a time. But we have the luxury to look ahead, so why don't we do just that? The season kicks off September 4th at Beaver Stadium against Minnesota. The Golden Gophers have nowhere to go but up after finishing 2-9 and 2-6 in the Big Ten last year.
I think we're building. Our kids are working as hard as any American. You know, we got to get as big and as strong and as fast as those other guys. And when that happens, you know, then we'll even out the playing field.
Next, the Trojans of USC. John Robinson is back at the helm. You can expect to see plenty of student body right and student body left. The tailback will once again be the focus of the offense. And Penn State has played some of its worst football in those last two losses to Southern Cal. On the 18th, the Lions take their first Big Ten road trip when they face Iowa at Kinnick Stadium. The Hawkeyes lost 10 starters from offense last year, but reloaded with some junior college transfers. Hayden Fry says he's anxious to hook up with his old buddy, Paterno, again.
They defeated us 20-17 the last time they played there back 8-10 years ago or so, and we defeated them at Penn State. So I don't know what's good having him in there this year or not.
On the 25th, it's the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers at Beaver Stadium. Rutgers is thought to be one of the comers in the Big East, and head coach Doug Graber knows a win at Penn State will do plenty to enhance his team's rep. It's back on the road again October the 2nd, and the Terrapins of Maryland hosting the Lions at Byrd Stadium. It's head coach Mark Duffner's first year, and don't look for him to end the Terps' terminal tailspin against the Lions. After a week off, it's the big one. Michigan rolling into Beaver Stadium for their first ever meeting with Penn State. Tyrone Wheatley is the marquee man in the Wolverine offense, but that offensive line is brand new.
Some of these backs are going to have to pick it up and do it on their own a little bit if we're going to be a good running football team.
There's also a new quarterback in Todd Collins, but he did throw for 7 touchdowns last year, and he feels he's ready to step in.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. I think last year it was going to help me out a lot, playing 2 games. I started and getting a real slugfest at a Big Ten game against Ohio State. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure, but you know, there's a lot of pressure anytime you're a quarterback, at Michigan. So I'm just going to prepare myself and be ready for it.
And after yet another week off, it's off to Columbus for the Buckeyes of Ohio State. John Cooper has survived yet another lynching attempt, and as always, the pressure is on.
It's kind of sad, that we can't even pick up our own hometown newspaper without, being mad about what they're writing about us, and we're doing fine during the year, and we're still, still catching hell for it. But I guess, you're going to get that anywhere you go, and I guess, you got to kind of stick it out, and that's part of the game.
The Buckeyes are loaded on defense with 7 returning starters. On offense, Raymond Harris and Butler Baynode give the Buckeyes some punch at tailback, and there's plenty of talent and bulk on that offensive line.
We always have high expectations at Ohio State, and this year is no exception. I'm more excited, I think, to be honest with you, about the offensive line. We've got some good players there. We've got some good defensive players coming back. So I think you win championships in this league by being a great defensive team.
November 6th at Beaver Stadium, the Hoosiers of Indiana and Penn State square off for the first time ever on the gridiron.
We have 16 starters, so we do have a good nucleus back. Plus, we played quite a few people last year. We got dinged up a bit, so we ended up using more folks, and our depth hopefully will be a little bit better there, too.
It's back to Beaver Stadium on the 13th when the Fighting Illini come to town. Last year, Illinois proved it could play with the big boys when it tied Michigan.
The good news is that we feel like if we perform well, there's no one that we can't beat. The bad news is the same thing's true for the rest of the league when they play us.
The Lions close out the season with 2 Big Ten road games, starting with the Wildcats of Northwestern at Deitch Stadium.
We know that we can play with anybody in the country, and we go into each game with that confidence.
In order to make a move in this league, we have to improve on defense, and probably more specifically in defensive line, we've got to gain some experience there and probably play a couple young kids, and we've got to get much better there.
Who knows what could be on the line when the Lions spar with the Spartans on November the 27th in East Lansing. George Perlis' teams always play their best football down the stretch.
Playing Penn State at home the first year is a real bonus, and then for Michigan State especially, having them as a rival game always, our last game of the year, is something special.
When we come back, a closer look at this Penn State Nittany Lion football team, and with 8 starters back, the defense is a great place to start. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Well, it's no secret. Championships are won with defense, and we all know Joe Paterno's philosophy. You start football teams with defense first, the kicking game, and then the offense. So in our evaluation of this Penn State Nittany Lion football team, why don't we do it just like the boss does? And on this defense, it's what's up front that counts. Lou Benfatti, Tyoka Jackson, and Vince Stewart are all back and ready to go. In all, Penn State will return 8 starters on defense and welcome back Eric Ravati from a redshirt season in 1992.
After a year of practicing and knocking out on game day, I can't tell you how excited I am just ready to hit somebody else.
It would appear that opposing quarterbacks better have pretty quick feet and a pretty quick release to avoid what should be a potent pass rush.
They're going to make our job a lot easier, and I'm glad about that. I mean, we got some great up front people, and that's what we're doing. We're just turning those guys loose and letting us guys covering them. And we knew that. They just told us that, and so we're looking. I'm sure they'll do the job and make ours easier.
Man in the middle should be Brian Gelsizer. After playing some outside linebacker last year, he had his coming out party at Notre Dame when he came up with 16 tackles and found a new home on defense.
He can set a tone for the defense. He can be a leader. He obviously can make a lot of plays. His natural position is an inside linebacker, not outside.
And there shouldn't be any lack of leadership either. Captains haven't been named, but several players plan on taking charge.
I'm ready. I mean, I've been here. This is my 4th year. I know I've been through it all. I've been through winning seasons, losing seasons, and everything. And I'm ready to have some fun with it, and I'm glad to be part of this role.
I think those are the real leaders, the guys who do it in practice every single play. I think those are the guys who set the tone for the team, and I'm anxious to be one of those guys who can do that. And I'm anxious to be a part of a lot of good football players. I'm anxious to be a part of being a part of it with a team with a lot of great guys. And it's really exciting to have good football players and great guys around you.
While Lou Benfatti may not be the best at motivational speaking, his play should speak volumes.
I think Lou has got all the physical ability to be in that class and does certain things as well. He's strong, he's got stamina, he's very, very competitive, tough. He's just got to make a couple of those plays that he just misses on making.
Just like last year, it appears the talent is in place. But what about the intangibles, like intimidation?
I think if everyone puts their mind to it, we can be. You know, we can't have what we had last year. We just gotta put that behind us and move on and take it game by game.
I think getting Penn State together right now is what was most important. And I think if we get ourselves strong and we get ourselves with the mentality that we want to dominate every single play, I think we will cause some troubles around the league.
In the secondary, Derek Bonner and Lee Rubin should be the anchors with a host of others bidding for playing time. One man that thinks his name should be penciled in is corner Shelly Hammonds, who's been over on defense now for 3 years.
You know, I stayed here all summer and worked out, you know, and tried to get better. You know, and I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life, you know, since I've been here at Penn State. And, you know, just ready for the challenge and show people that I really can play on the defensive side of the ball.
We had all the talent in the world. We got guys starring, you know, on Sundays now, you know. But attitude is probably the most important thing, because everybody at this level of play is a great athlete. Now it's a matter of who worked the hardest and who will, you know, have the right attitude to win. And that's going to be our toughest challenge this preseason.
I've been around here a while, and I mean, I'm looking forward to my final season. I'm looking for big things and get a little pride back to Penn State.
Like any good defense, the Lions have size, speed, and strength. But on 4th and 1 with the game on the line, will somebody step up and make the play? We'll just have to wait and see. Wait and see. That's exactly the attitude we had to take when it came to finding out who the quarterback would be on this Penn State football team. But unfortunately, when you talk about the offense, injuries are the biggest story. Ryan Grube and Tyson Thomas done for the year, but Craig Fayak is back and healthy and should provide Penn State with solid place kicking. We'll have the offensive story when we come back. Joe Paterno made no bones about it. He said the kicking game was by far his biggest concern, but a healthy Craig Fayak has changed his attitude somewhat. He had hoped Fayak wouldn't have had to kick off, but freshman Brett Conway is one of the many walking wounded for the Lions. He probably won't be able to go on Saturday, meaning Fayak will have to do it all.
Yeah, we'll find out. I think he's going to have to kick off now. I didn't want him to kick off. He's been fine with field goals, but he's said he wants to kick off, and with Conway not going to be able to go, we're going to have to probably use Craig to kick off.
Last year, Fayak only made it through the first 6 games of the season before a stress fracture in his back put him on the sidelines. He made 5 of 9 field goal attempts, but 2 of those misses came against Miami. Fayak plans on putting that and his bad back behind him.
Yeah, doctors have told me that the rehab went really well. Again, the biggest factor is just how much pain do I have, and since I don't have any pain, all systems look like they're ready to go, and we'll see what happens.
It wasn't too long ago that Fayak had to take some snaps at quarterback to make sure there was enough depth there. That wasn't the case this year. The entire spring and preseason saw one of the more wide-open quarterback duels in recent history. 3 guys supposedly all with a legitimate shot at starting. Then on Tuesday, Joe finally let us in on his decision.
We're going to start John Sacker. My thinking on the thing was that I went into preseason with the idea that somebody had to beat John out. I felt that John had played well last year, maybe a little bit better than Kerry.
Sacker's numbers were very solid last year, completing 53% of his passes, 9 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions.
I think my accuracy is shown to be, probably the best, and I've relied on that. I think I'm a good defensive reader. I think when I'm in the zone, I pick teams apart. But hey, it's another quarterback controversy. I was ready for this. I stayed up all year, and it's a challenge, and I'm looking forward to it.
As usual, the delay of the decision heightened the attention of the so-called quarterback controversy, and it was a distraction.
It's tough when you're going into the huddle and every day you're seeing a different face, and you're not really sure who's going to be your leader out there and who to prepare for. I mean, as far as who's going to be taking you down that field, you just have to. Sometimes you just would really like to know. And it was tough sometimes. Just we all were wondering and talking about it among ourselves, and when you watch film, you try to do your own little evaluation, things like that.
But actually, all 3 quarterbacks were very capable. The bigger question is, who is Sacker going to throw to? We told you that Tyson Thomas is gone for the year.
I got one kid that's playing football wideout. any sizable. Bobby Ingram played some, and LeBlanc has been a spot player. Who else has been in there? So, I mean, it's a very, very inexperienced offensive football team everywhere you look, except maybe, and then if you go to the second tight end, you've got to play 2 tight ends most of the time. So it's going to be interesting.
There is some talent waiting in the wings, namely Justin Williams and Freddie Scott, among others, but there is no substitute for experience, and most of that went out with Tyson Thomas's season-ending injury. And even though the Lions also lost another potential target in tight end Ryan Grube, the number 1 guy there, Kyle Brady, is a pretty big target his own self. He's 6'6", 260 pounds. Would like to see the ball come his way.
Yeah, I was talking to him last night at dinner. I was saying I might have to slide him a couple 20s here and there, maybe take him out to eat once in a while. So actually, they're all good. They're all nice guys. I like them all, and I don't think I'm going to be biased towards John now that he's the starter.
There was an equally spirited battle at tailback between 3 redshirt juniors, Mike Archie, Kajana Carter, and Stephen Pitts. But we'll have to wait until tomorrow to see who the starter will be.
All 3 tailbacks will play in different types of combinations. They'll play, and that doesn't worry me. And I don't think anybody has to feel he's the guy running the football team.
It's a competition thing on the field, but off the field, I mean, we don't talk about it or anything like that. It's just on the field, we know that we got to compete against each other. That just makes us better, and it really doesn't matter, who comes out. We're going to cheer each other on no matter what.
They got to satisfy all of us, and I'm really looking for team goals. Us doing well in the Big Ten. So if they have to start, to get the job done, go for it. It really doesn't bother me because I wanted to see us, do good in the Big Ten.
But just like the quarterback spot, the tailback position was 3 talented players going for 1 spot. And eventually it should be a plus for the Lions. As far as fullback, projected starter Brian O'Neill, coming off of back surgery, now has a sore foot, and that will probably keep him out of the lineup on Saturday. So there you have it, a brand new era for Penn State football, and it all starts tomorrow right here against Minnesota. I'd like to thank everyone that had a hand in putting this show together. I'd like to thank you for watching. I also have to remind you that as far as following your favorite Nittany Lion football team, we want to do it right here because we're going to have the most comprehensive coverage you can imagine. For now, that's it. I'm Paul Alexander, and we'll see you at the stadium.